Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks.
Welcome to the sneaker closet where we talk the flyest kicks. Find out when they're about to drop and find out what the value is. Matt and Johnny going in. Make sure you're tuning in. Every week they talking sneaks, a new pair that I gotta get. Welcome to the sneaker closet where we talk the flyest kicks. Find out when they're about to drop and find out what the value is. Matt and Johnny going in. Make sure you're tuning in. Every week they talking sneaks, a new pair that I gotta get.
Welcome back to the closet. I'm your host, Matt Roach, here with my trusty, he needs a roommate, place to live, JP Johnny Pena, my brother. What's up, kid?
What's going on, my people? You over here just airing my business out, huh? Just airing my business out. My goodness. We out here, we chilling.
I can reboot this. Want to reboot this?
Nah, we good. We good. We could go straight forward with it.
All right. I like how we're having a conversation about how we should reboot this thing right in the middle of the episode. Now that is just quality craftsmanship right there. This is how we run our enterprise. We're like, should we keep going with this? So yeah, it's been a minute. Man, this life, it's just crazy. It's been a crazy year and a half. Shout out to all the people who somehow managed to do full-time jobs and still crank out these episodes weekly, because we are trying, but life in the healthcare industry is wild right now. Man, I am working.
Driving me insane.
Man, I'm nonstop working. Like, this needs to stop, okay? Shout out to those nurses and doctors, because I'm just a paper pusher. So shout out to them. They're the real heroes. But we got kicks on kicks on kicks on kicks. Let's just get right into it. That shock drop last night, those Travis Scotts that I didn't know were, there was just so many initial things that it was going to hit, it wasn't going to hit, it was going to go through sneakers, it wasn't going to go through sneakers, it was going to be, so shock drop last night. Travis throws out a tweet, and then huzzah, it happens. What are your, I know how you feel about it, so I'm going to let you go on that. I know you need a minute for that, but what do you think of the shoe itself before you go into the rollout?
Man, the shoe itself isn't my cup of tea, right? I've said it time and time again, where the shoe itself just isn't the first iteration of it. I think the first one was definitely the one that we really grew to love and grew to adore, because it was something different at that time, and it was something that we really wanted, right? So I think with this one, it's just a second iteration to the first gen. I guess you could call it a second gen, right? So for me, the white, I think the sample pair, if you ever saw the sample pair pair beats it by far. So I would have loved to just see the sample pair before any other, final design came out. So the shoe itself, I mean, all resale purposes. I don't blame anybody that wants to just do resales straight up with the shoe. By all means, more power to you. The shoe itself, bots are us. The people with bots. If you can't beat them, join them. I'm done complaining about people using bots, and now you can use raffle bots too to enter however many raffles and X amount of raffles. It's crazy, man. The sneaker game definitely has changed tremendously as we keep making episodes and keep talking about just different shoes. And I think today, with the Jordan Reserve that happened on the sneakers app, it was just like we know you didn't cop the Travises, but here's a little thank you for always being a customer of ours and taking an L every weekend.
I guarantee it has nothing to do with that. You know what it really is they had, Big Jim over there cleaning out the warehouse. He goes, yo, I found 100 pairs of these, 1,000 pairs of these. Let's just clean this up before our stock price, our quarterly earnings hit. Because those are shoes that just they found in the warehouse. Or they got sent back from stores, or it was stores that went out of business that didn't pay their bills. There was no other reason besides those were just leftovers.
Hands down.
Because they're not big enough where there was not anything that was hugely hype. I mean, there were things that people want. Like, don't get me wrong, like those J3 Georgetowns I would have grabbed. There was one Jordan one, but it wasn't like a huge hype one. There was a couple other things that were decent, but it was clearly either a store went out of business, or they found them in the warehouse, or you also have to figure their warehouses got to be the size of cities. And their supply chain has to be gargantuan. They could have found that in a supply chain in another country. So I think those are just whenever they do these like little reserve things, to me that's just like they found some pairs and they're like, let's just sell them.
And it's like if we don't sell them, they're gonna go to the outlet,
Yeah.
and first come, first serve. You know what I mean?
And those
So
are all gonna they were decent enough that they were all gonna sell. There was
yeah,
nothing on there that was like straight like doo doo. It was like
yeah,
it was decent stuff. Like
yeah.
stuff that I would cop. Like there was the red flints. I would totally wear those. And those were still there like 30 minutes before recording.
Which was crazy,
I'm shocked those are sitting
crazy.
there, but like I have just gotten super conservative on like stuff that I'm like gonna buy. I really don't get anything. The first pair of shoes, I finally bought a pair, and shout out to my guy Pete over at Shop AWOL. I finally won a raffle, and I don't tell him I actually enter the raffles. I just straight up just low key throw my name in there, and this is actually the first one I've actually won. So I mean, I don't go for many shoes, but I still throw my name in there just for the heck of it.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
because you never know what you're gonna
yeah,
get out of it, right? So
and to be honest, if it's not, I can, hook up a friend or, sell it or, something. But I never tell them because I'm like, I'm not going to use fake. Like, it just gets people in trouble. I'm not going to be that guy.
yeah.
So, shout out to him for, I finally hit on one that I wanted. This is one I would have kept too. And I did. It's over right here. Those South Beaches right here. Woo!
Needed those. Needed
Oh, are these
those.
crispy?
Needed those.
The only other pair I need this year is the patent Jordan 1s. And you know how I feel about that. That is the creme. I've been talking about that
The
since
creme de la creme, homie.
ooh. I mean those are I need those.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
if I had any favor anywhere in life, I'd be like, please, please, please.
Yeah.
But these fragments, I got to be honest, or these Travis fragments, I don't like them at all. Like there's not like I just don't understand any of it. It's that soul doesn't complement that, coffee stained soul, doesn't complement the stark white and black combo they were trying to go with. I am never usually a fan of blue and black personally. I mean, we don't usually wear black and blue. I typically don't wear blue jeans with black shoes. It's just black and blue's just not usually a fit. And you're right, that first one hit. It was a color nobody was talking about. It was unique. This one to me, it didn't feel original, and they did do some things different. They changed the back where it wasn't leather. They have this weird mesh thing, and they have the pocket in behind. The one thing I don't understand is why you would want a pocket behind the back of your foot. I mean, I haven't seen it all the way open, but I don't understand that one. So somebody fill me in what the point of that one is. I wouldn't want something like I get when they put the pocket in the front pouch, like in the puff in the front, but I don't get why they put it in the side and the back. That's where the comfort comes from. That's the padding. So to me, that doesn't make as much sense. There's not a lot, and then it just makes it look poofy, no matter what you put in there. I don't. So for me, I don't hate it, but I'm just not a. It's not one that I would buy, and B, even if I was gifted a pair, I'm not entirely sure I'd wear them.
Mm.
And for me, that says something. Like that's my barometer of if I like a shoe. If it was free and I still wouldn't wear it, likely, I think it's just a complete pass for me.
No, that's a fact.
And it feels a step down. Like fragments for me just had this like this way about them. Like the OG fragments were like special. Like nobody has them. They're like extremely rare. They they like a true sneakerhead knew. Like if you knew, you knew. And there was just something kind of cool about that where they weren't like they didn't stand out. But you just knew when you saw that stamp in the side, that back heel, you were just like, okay, okay, I see you. You understand the game. You're a collector. You're a fan. Like there was just something unique about that, and to me, this doesn't feel like a fragment design for me.
I mean, when you look at it, right? I completely agree. When the fragment ones first came out, it was definitely a rare shoe. It still is a rare shoe to this day. Once the threes came out, I was like, okay, they're going with a different silhouette, a different model. Then I
But
was like in my
they
head,
brought it back though. To your point though, they brought it back to basics with the dunks, those purple ones.
yeah, that is true. That is true.
Because you're right, those threes were a big miss,
Yeah, yeah.
a
And
big miss.
I mean, it gets to a point where you as an individual, when do you pull the plug and say we're not going to continue to do this on a frequent basis? Because I feel like it's a frequent basis now. Because you
Well,
had the ones, you had the
the other
dunks, you had
problem
the
is too. So I
threes.
actually didn't think about this. I didn't clarify which one I was talking about because they technically came out with two Jordan threes, right? They came out with the black one and then the blue one.
Yeah,
So I was talking about the one with the black, not the blue-ish one. It was kind of because they came out with the blue, where it was like the blue around the bottom, right?
yeah.
Or did those
I'm talking
that
about
but
the white and
that's a
black one.
sample. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
black one, the blue one, I don't know if it ever got released. Did it? I don't think
Not
so.
that I can
I think they were
think
just
of. Yeah.
samples.
But then they even did the when they did the dunks, like the dunks were, I think they're still sitting for retail if I'm not mistaken, but
Wait,
it just
really?
wasn't everybody. Yeah, I think it's just not everybody's cup of tea. Like they started to restock, and it's just because it's just something regular. Um, I think when you look at it, you should definitely take your time with it. Definitely don't do it kind of back to back. At least for me, it was a back to back thing when you look at it, right? Because
Mhm.
when you had the Jordan 1, that was like that silhouette to me is crazy because blue's my favorite color. So I'm definitely going to want it. But
Yep.
even though you put a blue little taste on the whole fragment Travis Scott, I'm just like, yeah, the white just doesn't do it for me.
I'm
It
actually
just
gonna end
doesn't.
up copping these, I think. You're right, they're not that high above retail.
Yeah. So I mean it's
They're like $35 above retail.
yeah.
I'm gonna probably cop those.
So it's
Hmm.
a simple it's a simple shoe. You know what I mean? And
That's
I
what I
think
loved about the fragment design was that it was simplistic. It had this it kind of had that feel that a lot of New Balances have. It's got
yeah,
that it's that everyday simplistic design feel where it, it just kind of flows. It's not it's like, they always say the richest people are the ones that wear things that don't have any logos on them. They're very nondescript, but they're probably wearing a $400 t-shirt that has no design on it because it's simple. They're wearing probably just a black tee, but that black tee is probably like Hermes and it was probably like $400. You
that's a
know?
fact.
But, like, that's just how it works, and it's just this way, and I always felt that way about fragments, whereas that they had this way about them where it's like they felt high class for a sneaker.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was it was just their stamp, but they had this aura about them. You couldn't obtain them. This luxury feel. Even though the shoe wasn't like that, the brand had that feel for me.
yeah,
And it might be different for everybody, but I am a little sad about that, but at the same time, I'm going to use this moment to parlay into the other one I was talking about is the New Balance and a shoe that has that feel of doesn't have that like luxury feel, but it has that simplistic everyday feel. And I'm not going to lie, this collab just rocketed right up to the top of my list, and I am going to
yeah.
get this one way or the other. Is the Levi gray denim 992. And anybody who's listened for any length of time realizes that the 992 is one of my all-time favorite shoes. I have had a pair for 12 years. And to me, they are one of the best shoes ever made. They are, I mean, I've done yard work in them for the last 7 or 8 years after they kind of like lost, and they still look dope. And I'm talking like I've been out there like planting, like doing yard work, like they're going. Like nothing happens to them. And this gray denim, so subtle, but just so fire. I I don't even there's not one negative aspect I can say about this shoe, which is rare because I
Mm.
always have at least some critique. There is not one single thing I would do differently.
I mean, it's a full gray in my opinion, right? So it's a
Yeah,
full gray shoe. It's a simple shoe. It's a simple silhouette,
and they changed the
simple
midsole
colorway.
too.
Yeah, so it's like, they're I like where New Balance continues to go, and they continue to push the envelope. You can't really go bad with 992s. I think all New Balance stuff that is starting to release more frequent is definitely eye opening to me, because I see New Balance as always being that company to have something that's also comfortable but also fashionable as well. I feel like with these, like, you can just throw them on anywhere. Like you say, you mow the lawn in them and do X, Y, and Z in them. I feel like, going to the grocery store in them is cool too. Or if you just want a house pair that you never wear outside and you want to wear it around the house, if you're that type of person who wears shoes in the house, that you could do that too, right? So I think New Balance isn't missing anything. If I
But I like how
had
they
to,
changed the midsole though. Did you notice that? It's they must be
yeah,
using their new technology because that at the like the front kind of your if you're looking at the left shoe, it's like where your kind of like the ball of your foot, not the ball of your foot, where like near your the bottom of your big toe, like right
yeah.
there at the transition. There's like new technology there, and on the back, it's new technology.
I think on the front of the toe box, I think, though it is denim, and denim is pretty dope. I think was it New Balance and Levi's that created a whole denim shoe,
No, that
or
was
was it
Nike. They
Jordan
did
and Levi? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Jordan 4s. They did
Yeah,
the black, white, and gray.
I
I mean
think the
the
only
blue, black, and gray or white.
I
Sorry.
think the only thing that deters me away a little bit about just wearing this outside on a regular basis is just like, to get stains out of there is ridiculous on denim shoes. Like,
Yeah, but the
it
whole thing's not denim. The places that are gonna get dirty aren't denim.
well, the toe box has that denim material.
No, that's suede.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I actually zoomed in on the picture. So the denim is in
No,
between.
that's denim, my brother.
No, that is not the denim.
On top of the toe box.
Oh, on top of the toe
Yeah,
box.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, oh,
Not like going around it, but on top of the toe
oh,
box.
oh,
That's
oh.
definitely denim. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You're right on that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I thought you were talking about the toe box itself, like around. I was like, no
Oh,
way. I
no,
was like,
no,
that
no,
is
no,
way
no.
too fuzzy to be denim.
Yeah, around it is suede. Around it is suede.
Yeah, like
Um,
that. And that's typically what gets dirty.
yeah,
I mean, the
yeah,
front is well. Let's see. This is where we need that crep, baby.
yeah.
That
That Crep
Crep
Protect, man.
Protect.
I looked at my shoes the other day. I was like, damn, I've been to so many of my godson's baseball games, and I just been wearing sneakers without knowing that I'm gonna be like. I became a voluntary coach at his games. So when my
Those
shoes
poor
got
kids.
dirty,
Those
I
poor
was
kids. They
like,
deserve a better coach, especially one that's going to show up in a Yankee fitted.
man,
You should
listen, we made it to the championship, but then we lost in the championship. So I'm not trying to hear it at all.
wait.
I'm not trying to hear it.
Do you wear that hat to his games?
I wear this one. I wear the Boston Red Sox one, and when it was like super hot, I wear like a bucket hat. That bucket hat would actually go with these New Balances, which is pretty dope.
I'm okay with the bucket hat, but
Yeah.
but that's like in the city. That's a risky move.
I mean, I'll even wear this to a Red Sox game. Don't play me. You know I'm good anywhere I go. I'm good anywhere I go. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm shaking my head. For anybody listening, I'm just shaking my head. It's
Oh
just
man.
sacrosanct. Oh my goodness. Um, but yeah, so they're just dope. I love the shoe to begin with, and I love simplicity. I like when they don't try to do too much. Sometimes it can be lazy, but this isn't lazy because what they did is they made subtle changes. They clearly made design changes. It looked like they did like some of that. I think it's called Absorb or something. We need to get somebody from New Balance on to explain. They have so much new technology. I
Yeah.
don't understand
It's like the
half of it.
Absorb or something. Like
Yeah, I
Bodega New Balance, when they did the collaboration, they used that in their sole too, which was pretty dope.
yeah, but they have like all these new technologies.
Yeah.
Shout out to all our friends over at New Balance. they're just great people. I mean, well, it's local, so we know more people there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the best thing is zero pull. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that we exist, but love what they're doing. Good. They're just good people over there. I just like everybody. They're nice.
Yeah.
So I need to try to cop these. And just to prove I have zero pull, I have been trying to get a pair of 550s in any color since the fall. Starting out with the name I screw up, Amy Leon Deo Sync.
Well,
Yeah.
those are gonna be high tops though. Those aren't gonna
No, but
be.
the low tops I've been trying to get. I tried to get the first batch, tried to get the second batch. Then I tried to get the ones that were releasing at the regular New Balance site, struck out. I then went to the outlets at the headquarters, struck out. Any color, anything.
Well, they dropped the purple and white ones, and I was able to cart on Foot Locker.
Well, I didn't even know, to be honest, I didn't even know they were for sale at Foot Locker. Wait, you got a
Hey,
pair at Foot Locker?
Soul Links, man. Soul Links. Shout out to Soul Links, man. They you got to keep those tweets, even though your phone be buzzing every 5 seconds. You got to keep it on there because something might drop and you might miss out. Just like those Puerto Rican Air Force Ones that I got. Like, I just kept the notifications on. They pinged me, and I was like, boom, I'm grabbing them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I
so
saw it on Foot Locker, and I was
I
like,
didn't know they were at Foot Locker, so that's on me. I didn't
yeah,
even realize they were there. But I've been trying to
yeah,
get them on the New Balance website because typically you could just get what you wanted from there, which was great.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
shoes like that. But I haven't been able to get one single pair in any. I'll take any colorway. Haven't been able to get a single pair. And they have this other one coming out in, what is it, a couple weeks? I
Yeah.
saw pictures of it, and to be honest, this one crushes. And I'm a 550 fan.
Yeah.
I well, the 550 was like an OG model from way back.
Right.
So I heard somewhere, and I don't know the validity of it, but I heard it was like a design that like they haven't done since like the 70s.
Really.
That New Balance apparently did way back when and just hasn't come back since. So the Aurally New Balance 550 collab's coming out, and it looks like the release date is gonna be. Well, it looks like it says it released in Japan, and it came out here on the 26th. But I don't think it actually made its way to the US. But since we don't like understand like the culture of stores in other places, apparently like Orly is like huge. Like has a huge like cultural following. It's big. Like it's like not a, I don't know if it's a supreme level, but it's got like a really big following and it's got like a lot of love. And this is kind of a flip-flop for me because I tend to not like aged shoes that look like they're old because I remember what was that Jordan that looked old and ragged and I was like completely against it. It was a Jordan 1 and what was it? Do you remember it? It was like it looked like used. It was like it had like that stained look to it. Now, of course, I
Mm.
can't remember the name of it. It
I
came
mean,
out like about
it's not the biohacks.
no. It looked like it was, like, skated in. It was, like, stained. It looked old. It looked like an old
Oh,
Jordan
you're
1.
not talking about the Nigels.
Nigel Sylvester's, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
wasn't a big fan of those at first.
yeah.
The hard thing is I can always be held accountable because we have so many episodes now that if anybody ever went back, they'd be like, "This guy's a hypocrite." So I have to at least be honest that I don't remember exactly, but I feel like I kinda crapped on those.
Yeah.
I think I was pretty harsh because I was like, "Who's gonna buy used shoes?"
I remember. You
Yeah.
don't have to tell me. I remember clear as day.
So I don't believe I was a fan, and they were aged. But these ones, and also I've calmed down a little bit on the Nigel Sylvesters. Like I don't dislike them like I used to. I think maybe it was just a little too bold at the time. I've come
Right.
around to it. It was ahead of my time. I think he was seeing it before I did.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I like these. These have a where they feel like a Gucci shoe. They
I can see
have
that.
this way like a Gucci low top to me.
Okay.
Like when I look at this, if you take the N and the New Balance writing off of it, and you just saw this shoe, you wouldn't think twice if you saw that in Gucci. or Louis Vuitton, or those are the two that I could kind of actually no, probably not even Louis Vuitton, more like a Gucci shoe. It has a Gucci feel. Like to me,
I can.
this is one that if you took the brand out of it, I can get behind this. The way that they and also there was a lot of thought into the contrasting of colors because there's almost 4 or 5 variations of aged kind of stale peach is what I would call it in there. It's not a basic color.
Right.
It seems as though there's 4 or maybe even 5 variations of the same color aged. And I'm here for it. I like it. I think from the toe cap to the heel, I count at least 4 or 5 different variations or different tones of it. So,
I
I'm
think
here for it.
they'll continue going forward with them. Um, the whole redesign process. I mean, a lot of these companies. I'm not saying that they're listening to us, but they're definitely listening to the consumers about the complaints and what they would like to see and what they don't really want to see and things of that sort, right? So when you look at it from a broader perspective, a lot of people want different things. Like Jordan will always release or retro something every year, right? New Balance is always trying to push the envelope just that little bit to stay on edge and have people on edge to be like, this is actually a really dope concept and a really dope silhouette of a shoe. So I think they're definitely taking the consumer aspect, but they're also trying to not reinvent but try new technology in different shoes and seeing what works, what doesn't work. And I think, you know, I'm also here for it. I think it's gonna come out super dope with more colorways that they come up with. I'm more of a color person than I am the shoe itself. Like if
You
it
like it
doesn't,
when things pop.
yeah,
You like more loud colorways, whereas I'm
yeah,
very different like that. We're very different in the things that we like.
yeah,
I mean, we meet on some things, but for the most part, we're kinda different.
yeah,
Um, but they've also done a really good job, and I have to say, and maybe it's the aesthetic for me, is I really like the style coming out of Tokyo. They've worked with Tokyo Design Studio, and I really like some of the designs coming out of there, and maybe I just like the Asian process, the fashion sense that it's coming through it.
right,
Um, but I'm really feeling a lot of the stuff that's coming out of Tokyo right now. It feels different. It feels organic. It feels it feels different than what we've had, and I kind of like that. I like it when they push the envelope, but in very slow ways. It's not like they're going outlandish, but they're trying different materials. They're trying different soles. I like when there's different things like that, like different soles, different midsoles, different outer materials. It's not just a color swap.
yeah.
It's a whole kind of thought process. So
It's
I'm
just the whole shoe. It's just a whole shoe itself. You're not taking um you're not taking a whole shoe and just creating the same colorway and just switching out the sole or the design. You're actually coming up with different palettes. I think that's more or less what's key right now, especially for a lot of people that are into fashion, right? Because fashion has always been a thing. I mean, you have Dapper Dan that has been around for ages and doing his thing and always reinventing something or fine tuning something is what I would call it. And I think New Balance has always been there. They know what starts to work and they know if they try something, they're always hear the feedback and they'll be like, okay, we won't try this again. We'll try it a different way instead and
Yeah,
fine tune
honestly,
it.
their only
So
misstep style wise that I haven't liked in the last 3 years is the Kawhi one.
yeah,
Honestly, that was the only thing that I just wasn't a true fan of. Honestly, that
yeah.
was, and it's not even a misstep. I think that was probably more Kawhi. I think Kawhi probably had insights, and you got to try to find this middle ground of giving him what he wants, but also a shoe that's going to sell.
No, that's a fact. That is a
And
fact.
I just didn't like the style of that. But outside of that, I mean, they've been crushing it. So keep it up. Um, I guess a complete 180 from that is Billie Eilish getting her own collab. I ran a little poll on Twitter, and people were feeling it. They were like, you know what? She's a big enough star to have her own Jordan 1. What are your thoughts? Do you think she's a big enough star to have her own Jordan 1?
Um, I don't know. So it it's a different type of era, I guess you could say, right? Like you different artists have their type of community that they reach out to. Like with Billy, there's not really there may be one song that I'll listen to that's really dope, but it's a different crowd, right?
Mhm.
And I think the Air Jordan 1 that they're creating for her is hot doodoo. Like honestly and truthfully, when are we gonna move away from neon colors that only fit different type of style shoes, right? So you had the off-white Air Forces that had that type of color but was a little bit lighter. You had so many other silhouettes and different companies that came out with that same type of color, and it only fits certain silhouettes in a different way that you create it. And I think this shoe definitely can be reinvented. Do I think it'll sell out? It's an artist. It's a big artist for a particular group. Everybody that is in love with this person, idolizes this person, will sell out instantly. Do I know that for a fact? I know that for a fact because of how big she is. So it's like for me, like even when Offset came out with his fitteds and it just had like a logo of him and the Atlanta freeway sign on the side, that sold out instantly. It's because of the type of artist that you are and the type of people that you actually reach out to. So for me, I think her shoe in general is going to sell out. Do I think they could have did something way better? I think so. I think so. It reminds me of a tennis ball, and I it's just not my cup of tea. But shout out to all those people that you know mess with her music, love her as a person. I love one song, but other than that, I think these shoes should definitely be called something else because these definitely knock me out. So
Yeah, so for me, it's a couple things for me. So, am I feeling these? No. But I also don't love the KO. So maybe they're trying to use her as a way to get into the market to bring the KO to be popular. Because the KO, I mean, it used to be I don't know what was more of like was it the stepchild, like that old like saying, the redheaded stepchild like of the group. Like I don't know if it was the mids, the KOs, like I don't know what was, but or the 1.5s, those were I don't even know what those are. Uh but for me, nobody cared about the KOs. They're just sitting there. So maybe they're like, she's a big enough celebrity to maybe help us bring the KO for a little bit of like being relevant.
yeah,
Maybe people will get interested in it. And I think I I like her as a person and as an artist. I think she's unique, she's authentic, she is who she is, and she doesn't try to, shy away from it. And I respect that. I respect people like that, and I don't I don't believe for a second she wears anything that she doesn't want to. I don't think she can. I don't think she's one of those people where I get the feeling like if somebody says wear, like a stylist says wear this, she just looks at them and goes, no. Like I see her as like if she wants to wear her PJs out, she's gonna wear her PJs out. Like I just think she just doesn't care what people think. So I actually believe that she probably wants this because I just think she just doesn't care. So I honestly think she's like, I love that color, I love that shoe, and they were like, well, this is probably a good fit because nobody likes KOs.
I mean it comes from the logo that she also uses too. I think that was the inspiration from the little the
Oh, the
little,
guy on
I
the
call it
on the toe tag.
the bathroom sign person, because you see this thing all over bathroom signs for like it'll say men's bathroom or women's bathroom, and it'll have like the person, like the,
Yeah,
I don't know what to call it, but I usually call it like a hangman, but it's not really a hangman. But I think it's really just inspired from the logo itself. I think that's what it is, right? So I
yeah.
think the inspiration came from a little bit of that, And I mean, a lot of people are gonna fall in love with this. Some people may not like it at all, but I know resellers join together and they will definitely make a profit off of this for sure.
So my only thing that the reason why I asked that is because it's not that maybe it's Nike see something in her, because it's not that her accolades are any different from a lot of other people who've come out with huge breakout albums. Because yes, it debuted at number 1. It was a massive success. She won Grammys. She won everything, but she's not the first person to come out and have an amazing freshman album that just blew people out of the water. That
Yeah.
happens every few years. I mean, sometimes it happens every year. So, what is it that Nike, or more importantly, Jordan, saw in her, and they also saw to give her a Jordan 1, which is their creme de la creme shoe. It's not like they gave her an Air Max. They didn't give her, an ugly silhouette. They gave her the Rolls Royce's ugly brother. I mean, it's
So the Toyota Camry 1978. Okay,
no, but I
got
mean,
you.
like it's not your Phantom, but it's like a 1970 Rolls Royce. I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like, it's still in that family. It's a Jordan 1.
Right.
So, like, it's not like they gave her something that was just complete garbage. They still gave her the Jordan 1 name.
True.
For as much as we
That is
make
true.
fun of the KO or the mids, they're still Jordan 1s, and that holds a weight to it. No matter if we make fun of it or not, it's still a Jordan 1, and it's
That's a
iconic.
fact. That's a fact.
So, what was it about her that they wanted her to be a part of the brand? How is she different from when Cardi B came out, or when, like, there's so many albums that, like, people who had that, like, big year where their first album came out and they were just like, all right, like, this is me, like, this is the person we want. Like, they could have had anybody, but they haven't, like, grabbed anybody in years to do that. Like Travis Scott, they did, but what is it about her, I guess, is what I'm trying to, like, figure out, is why did they want her? I'm just trying to think of, like, I'm just looking at, like, the last few years of people who are best new artists. I mean, this year was Megan the Stallion, they had Dua Lipa, Alessia Cara, Chance the Rapper. Um, like, there's all these people that they didn't, like, go after. They never, like, Justin Bieber. Like, there's just people like Kendrick Lamar. Oh, Kendrick Lamar has his own line, so I guess that's a bad example. Um, But there's just a lot of people who also had, like, really, like, big success. And also Kendrick Lamar probably didn't want a Jordan 1. He probably wanted a Cortez.
No, yeah, and even the Cortez, like that sold out too, and that's
Yeah.
like the comfiest shoe from what I've heard
Or
from
maybe
everyone.
stars
So
say no. I guess there's a chance they say no.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and we don't know what happens behind the scenes.
I mean,
They
this is the same. This is the same material that was used on the Travis Scott Air Force Ones that had the Velcro on it as well. Like it's the same type of material, it's just a different colorway. So I just consider the Travis Scott Air Force Ones, um, the same type of material, and this is just kind of like a mid version of that.
Well, here's another example, and I don't know if it's just the style doesn't fit, but, like, Ed Sheeran was huge, like, 5, 6 years ago, and he's still
Yeah,
big. But, like,
yeah,
how is she much different than, like, Ed Sheeran or any of those places? Like, they're all big. It's just I wanna know what it was about her that they were like, "This is what we wanna do."
yeah.
It's just out of curiosity. It's not saying she doesn't deserve it. She's
No, that's a
extremely
fact.
accomplished, and I'm excited for her, and to be honest, I'm glad there's more representation of women in footwear. Give them more of a voice. I think it's fantastic. Um, and it
Yeah, I
could be
definitely
that
want to find out too.
and
So
it could be that she's young and she's got, like, this. There's something about when you're young, you have this more energy and this vibrancy, and maybe they're trying to play the long game with her, and they're like, she's 19, 20 years old, like, she could be a gold mine for decades. Maybe it's just their way of trying to get somebody at the infancy when they're young. It's
yeah,
kind of like Jordan when they grabbed Zion. You don't know what could be. They could see her as the next great thing. So
right, right.
I don't know. It's interesting, but they're not for me. But I don't hate on it at all. I'm not against it. But you know what? Another shoe. It's funny because I was looking at that and I was looking. There was kind of like that ambush one. I kept getting confused because they kind of had the same color. That Dunk. They
Yeah,
had
that's
that
the
like
thing. Like,
that line. They were releasing them at the exact same time. The Dunks released tomorrow. I'm like, I'm so confused. Why would you release two very similar looking shoes at the
yeah.
exact same time?
I mean, they just started sending out early access to the shoe as well. So I'm sitting here looking at what's dropping tomorrow with Ambush, Billie Eilish's shoe coming out, the way that they're comparing the same colorway to Don C when he came out with the collaboration. I think he came out with like a trainer that had kind of the same thing and it had like the cement cracks on the right side of it.
Yeah.
I think in general, I think this colorway is dope, depending on what type of shoe you put it on.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way. I was actually trying to think of a way to word it, but I think you
Yeah,
it's yeah, it's the shoe you put it on. Because I like
definitely
the
the shoe.
ambush.
Yeah,
And I don't know if it's
yeah.
because I like the black check contrasting that like lime color.
Yeah.
I don't know if that plays a factor either. It's hard because you can't see it, so I'm not entirely sure. But it is
I
weird. It's weird that they're both coming out like the same like week, right?
I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was like, "There's no way, bro. Like, How is this a thing? Why is this a thing? Like, what tells you to release two shoes of the same colorway?"
But like
Um.
those, if you look really quick, a lot of people are going to mistake a Dunk High for a Jordan 1.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you
Oh
can
yeah.
look quickly, and there's times where I would probably mistake it too. If you look really fast,
Yeah.
like if you're just scrolling on Twitter, like there's times where you can mistake it. I mean, I've clearly gotten it doesn't happen as much anymore, but I bet you could still get one past me.
No, that's a fact.
Like, I
I
mean,
mean, they're
anybody.
doing while we're on this episode, they're doing a whole sneaker pass for the ambush right now. So by the time y'all hear this, we will probably post success or we'll just probably post a L. So
Like,
I
would
mean,
you go for this one? This ambush one? This flash lime
oh yeah,
ambush?
yeah. Just because I know somebody wants it, I wouldn't wear it personally.
For me, you know what's been hard is a lot of shoes haven't been going to 11 and a half.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
hasn't been full extended sizes to I don't know, it's weird, but a lot of shoes haven't been going into my size.
They don't mess with you Bigfoot mofos anymore, man. They're
They
like
should
small feet matters. Small feet.
you and your tiny little feet. You and your
I
little
know, I know. I got baby feet, man. Don't
I
talk
feel
about my
like
feet.
I feel like you and my wife could share shoes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I
She's
mean,
got
I got a size 8 of those rust pink threes if she wants it.
Oh, I got a pair of those. You know what's funny? I went to buy a pair of the Dunks, the women's Dunks, the
Which one?
peach, like the peach ones,
Yeah,
like the highs. I went to
yeah.
buy them because I for some reason I remember us talking about it like a month, maybe 2 months ago, and you were like, "I like those," so I went for them thinking in your size, but I forgot it was woman's.
It was women's size,
It was women's sizes, and the
and you
best part is
coughed.
I coughed them. So they're, like, sitting here, and I'm like, because I remember you saying you wanted them, and I was like, "Alright, like, I'll go for them." So I put your size in, and I got them here, and they're in woman's size, and I was like, "Well, these are useless." And I asked my wife, I was like, "Do you want these?" And she's like, "No, I don't want these." I hit
Same
tw
thing happened with the glow greens that I got. I went for an 8.5, forgetting that it was a woman's size. I was like, oh my gosh, man.
so she didn't like, she wasn't really feeling them. I was like, alright." So I literally am just chilling with him, and I actually even paid the extra $5 for the fast shipping because I was like, "Oh, I'll surprise him with these."
Oh, the 2 day shipping thing.
Yeah, well, I do that a
Yeah.
lot of times now, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be amped," and then I forgot once I got here, I opened the box, and I was like, "Oh, man." So then now they're just sitting in my closet. I just need to either flip them or
Yeah.
find somebody who wanted
Yeah.
them. I just don't know anybody in that size in women's besides my wife.
What's the woman's size again?
I wanna say it's an 8. 8 or 8 I think it's an 8.
8.5 in women's is like what is it, like a 5?
It's
Is
a
it a 5 in women's?
7. It's either a 6.5 or a 7 in men's, I believe.
7 in men's, yeah. I'm always trying to remember my size and women's sizes because there are a lot of women's shoes, and we talked about this before. There are a lot of women's shoes that look super dope, like
Well,
the
you actually
colorways.
can get into some women's shoes because
Yeah,
that is like a size they actually still make.
yeah,
Because that
yeah,
is a 10, was it a 10 women's?
yeah. I think it's like a 10 or a 10 and a half in women's.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they usually go up to what, 11? 11 in
yeah, if I'm
women's?
not mistaken.
But I also kind of feel bad too. Like, are there no women that have big shoe sizes? Like, there was girls that like I was in high school with that were like athletes, like, basketball, soccer, like stuff like that. Like, they didn't have like little kid feet. Like, I knew like a girl on the soccer team that had like a size 12 shoe, which would
Well, yeah,
be, well,
I
actually that'd be a
know.
10, that'd be a 10 and a half men. So yeah, so they go up to like what, 12 women's. So that makes sense. There's probably not a huge market for women's above 12. Although
I mean,
I have no idea.
for majority of my shoes, like, and shout out to Taylor because Taylor, Deuce Kicks, she sells some of her stuff too. She's been selling a lot of her stuff that she's not wearing, but with me and her wear the same size. So if I
Yeah.
don't cop
So what is
something, I
she,
know that she's,
a 10 women's?
if I'm not mistaken, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we literally wear the same size. So
Oh, that's cute. Look at you with your little
I'm like,
feetsies.
okay. I'm like, Taylor, you got me right. I ain't get these, but you got those. She was like, is this what you need? I'm like, yeah, this is what I need. So, and she was the one that actually told me that I wear a size 8 in Jordan 3s and not an 8.5. And
You know what kills
haven't
me
went
is
back.
how my whole collection is in different sizes. And I don't know if it's
Yeah.
just changed. So I found out now in the LeBron 8s, I'm 11 and a half. In the
So you're a size
7s,
up or a size down in the LeBron 8s?
I'm same.
Okay.
I could do a 12 if I had to. In the LeBron 7s, I'm an 11. The Kobe 6s, I'm a 12. The Kobe 5s, I'm a 12. The A lot of the Jordans, I'm an 11 and a half. But like, how is it that all these shoes, I'm different sizes? Like in the same like
Weird.
family. Like at least Jordan keeps it together where for the most part, outside of a Jordan 6, I'm an 11 and a half for the most part.
That's crazy.
The Jordan 6 I can really do an 11 probably. But
That's
Jordan's at least
wild.
consistent. Like
Yeah, I mean
Kobe runs small.
yeah,
LeBron is just all over the place.
for majority of the shoes that I have, I would say there's probably a handful of pairs that I wear a size 8 in. The LeBron 8s, I ended up
Wait, you went
cop
down on the 8s?
yeah, because
Oh,
the
interesting.
the Lakers colorway, like
No, that
the eight,
the 8, yep, Lakers, because they did.
yeah,
I got the Lakers colorway on the 7s,
yeah,
and that I had to size down. I went to an
it
11.
was 8.5 was way too big. So I was like, yeah, I need a size 8.
Yeah,
Because
I went
the
down on
toe
the
box
7s.
itself is like literally I can feel my foot being able to make circles in the toe box.
Really?
Like my foot should not be able to do any of this shit. Like my foot should be
It's
able
just
to
straight
just
up
stay
like
there.
that's ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
so
just like, yeah, I got to get an 8, man.
yeah, I wear, and on the LeBron 3, I wear an 11 and a half. So I have an 11, 11 and a halves, and 12s in the same
That's
line.
crazy.
And
That
that's
is
just
wild.
from 3, 7, and 8.
That's
LeBron 3.
wild.
Yeah. Like I don't
Wild.
understand how I can have so many different sizes. Like for brands that must be like frustrating cuz people like your shoe size.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
thing is it's not like it's a different brand. They're all Nike. And like for even Jordan is Jordan, but they're still Nike. They're made by the same company. So how does that even happen? Like why wouldn't you design it so that you keep shoe sizes the same?
But it's also a different structure. I
Yeah, but
think
the sizing is all made by the designers know that. Like
right,
when
but
they're
the type of material that you use on the shoe, I think, also plays a part, right? Like if you're using that type of leather, like the Animal Instincts that came out, if you're using that type of material, it's gonna fit a little bit tighter. It's not gonna stretch out as much as if you used like
yeah, but that's brand new shoes. I'm talking all dead stock shoes.
got
They
you.
all
Okay.
fit that way. So I mean, shoes stretch differently over the lifetime, but those were
Yeah,
all DS, which they should fit the same, and then they should
yeah.
either stretch or tighten or whatever over time. But it's weird how like they're all the same. Is it just like poor QC or Are they just not getting as
Maybe.
good at designers anymore? Like, I don't understand it. It's just it boggles me. And shoes that I had back in the day are different. I wear different sizes now. Like I had LeBron 7s back in the day and like 8s. Actually, I don't think I ever had 8s. I had 7s. Uh, which is crazy. My shoe
Yeah.
actually got smaller.
It's I will tell you before we wrap this up that those Nike is really quick with these lawsuits, and they're also really quick with the hush. Here goes some money, because remember the postal service was
Oh,
at their
they
next.
they settled that. Those are coming out too.
Yeah, exactly. They about to. They were like, "Yo, come on, man. We apologize. Here goes a little bit of money. Let us just still do it."
Well,
Am
I'm
I gonna
sure
go for it? I'm definitely gonna go for it.
there's a
Definitely gonna
guy
go
in the
for it.
back room who's just like sitting there crunching numbers, friggin' Janice from accounting or something, and they're just over there. They
Yeah,
go, "Well, you'll make $1 million if you just sell it," and it's like, okay,
postal
like
service was
they're
like,
like,
as
"Here, just
long
give."
as every single one of our employees across the world gets a pair, we're good.
Yeah, can you imagine if you just saw every postal worker just walking in those?
Be like, yo, I know what those are, man. How'd you
They've
get
all been
those?
everything's been settling out of court though. Have you noticed nothing's gone
Yeah,
to actual court?
yeah, yeah,
Everything has been settling.
yeah.
Whatever ended up happening with um the
Warren
guy?
Lotus.
Yeah,
I don't
the
I don't know. I just know that it definitely got settled because he reconfigured the whole shoe. And now it looks more of like a DC shoe than it does uh, a SB shoe. It looks like you go straight to the DC store and you buy them, and it just has a fat tongue. It has the Reaper on the side of it. I mean, still a dope concept. It's his concept. I think the older ones that he got away with were definitely my favorite, obviously.
well,
But
it's so funny how when he's not copying everybody and their brother, they look like straight up doo doo. It's like
yeah,
it's so funny when he can't just say, "Oh, by the way, let me make a Heineken dunk real quick," or "Let me make the Stussy," and like let me copy these just straight up, and everybody loves me, and then I make some that looks like a poor man's like DC skate shoe, and now nobody wants it.
I will tell you this first and foremost. He caused a lot of this stuff. He was definitely the I mean, people were doing it before him, but not as big,
Well,
and
he
he
was trying to
wasn't.
scale stealing
r-
everybody's ideas. Like
Well,
these
when
are a
you think
doo-doo
of what,
shoe.
yeah, but when you think about it, he started a lot of this stuff that's happening now. Now, what's happening is that the I guess you could call it the patent or getting the okay from Nike. There was, I forgot who it was that was able to use the silhouette of the Air Jordan 1. So now they can use the structure of an Air Jordan 1, and I forgot what the name of the company is, and make their own thing. And there's a lot of people that are doing this now. There's Fugazi. We talked about Fugazi. Fugazi uses the same type of silhouette for Air Jordan 1. There's a place called Omni. I think it's Omni. Omni uses the same thing. Like, there's a lot of people that are using the same type of style silhouette. There's one company that took it the legal way and actually looked at Nike and was like, "Please, please, Father, may I?" And Nike gave the okay. So now they're creating their own thing with their own design. So I would have to give a big shout out to Warren Lotas, because he took a bullet, just like a lot of people were taking bullets, but some people took it a different way, where Warren Lotas was still creating something different afterwards, where other people were like, yeah, we got to stop doing this. Now we got to make something that's like super ugly. Do I think his shoes are fitting a certain type of community now? Yes, of course. Like, when he first
I think
had
he
the
had
whole
no choice.
Heineken, the Paris, yeah, he had no choice because Nike was down his back.
Well, he's probably gonna sell crap just to break even. I'm sure he's got to pay for all those
Oh
legal
yeah.
fees.
Oh no,
So
no,
he's
no. That's
like,
a fact.
but these are the funny thing is would he be what he is if he didn't try to just copy everybody else?
Oh,
Like,
hands down. Hands down.
you think his
Hands
shoes would have
down.
still popped if he didn't do
No,
those
not his
dunks?
shoes. The thing is like, from his aspect, And I'm not saying that you're wrong, completely wrong on this. What I'm saying is his aspect started with clothing. So you have crazy basketball players that you
Oh,
know
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
love that
No, I
wear
don't
some
have any problem with his
clothing.
clothing. I don't have any
No,
problem
no,
with his
no. But
clothing.
what I'm saying is that his clothing is what made his shoe game pop to what it was. And then that's when people really only complained because they weren't able to cop, just like we complained because we can't cop sneakers on the sneakers app. Everybody's going to complain. If they like something and they can't cop it, they're going to complain about it. Once you start complaining, you're going on social media. This is why social media is so big, is because people can say what they want behind closed doors on a keyboard. And now when something is trending either on Twitter, on Instagram, it's coming up on your feed, people are reposting, screenshotting. Nike, New Balance, Adidas, Reebok, they're all going to get a whiff of it. You have a social media team for a reason.
Yeah,
You're
but
gonna get a whiff of this.
I had never heard of Warren until he started doing those dunks. So he didn't even make my radar until he started making those dunks.
Really?
So
I
would
I
he?
loved his clothing. Loved his
And I
clothing.
nothing against. And when the one thing I actually stood up for was when that all happened. I actually stood up for his clothing because that was his own thing.
Yeah,
But would he have ever made my radar if he didn't take those iconic dunks and make them?
probably
Like,
not.
yeah.
Probably not.
So would he be what he is today without those iconic shoes? Like his brand maybe would have had, 75,000 followers and he might have made a really good living. But would he have been a talked about entity after the fact if it wasn't for those shoes? Like, would he be a name that everybody knows if he didn't copy and get sued? Because everybody knew about it. And his clothing was successful, and that's not taken away from people who have successful clothing brands, but that doesn't instantly make you a part of the conversation in the sneaker game.
That's true.
So now
That
that
is
he's
true.
trying to
I
be
see what you.
a sneaker
Yeah,
designer, he's realizing it's really hard when you can't just steal other people's ideas. When he tried to make his own, it's kind of hideous.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't
That's why I canceled my pair. I was just like, I just want a full refund. I
like
don't want the
this
shoes.
tan, whatever it is not something that I would ever pay money for.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, but when you
his
look at it,
clothes are
right?
still
I
dope.
mean,
I never have
so
any
the
problem with his
reason
clothes.
So the reason why I brought it up is because somebody took the legal way and was able to get to use the Air Jordan 1 as a silhouette, which it's really hard for Nike to do that. I want to know the process that went into getting the okay from them. But there's also people that are making foo-foos and getting away with it, like they always will, right?
Yeah.
So until Nike gets a whiff of it and you start making it big, then Nike. I look at Nike as Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's gonna get his regardless. So for
See, the thing
me,
is, nobody cares. Nike doesn't care on the small peanuts. When you're
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
mass produce it, if Warren kept making his shoes from scratch and only made a few pairs, Nike leaves him alone.
yeah,
Because Nike realizes it's not a good look to take on a guy who's hand making shoes.
yeah.
Because to be honest, that's not affecting their bottom line. But when he's trying to sell tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pairs, now they're like, okay. But if I'm over here selling a custom bespoke pair, 2Gs a pop, hand making them, nobody cares.
Nah,
Nike does not care. They're not coming after mom and pops. They're
not at
coming
all.
after people who are trying to get real bread. And that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to offshore everything to probably a child run factory in Vietnam paying $2 a week and profiting. And they were like, you know what? You want to try to get paid? All right. Here's your legal bill. Surprise.
Nike was like, "Hold up, buddy. Hold up, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Hold on. We got to get
Stop
mine
right
real quick.
there."
Yeah, yeah. Go
Yeah,
back
it
and
was
make
like,
your
yeah,
go make your DCs real quick.
yeah.
So yeah, so that'll be
But yeah, I
fun.
mean, it made a lot of people, take the smart route, I would say. And kids, this shows you that, yeah, you could try to rip off a nice silhouette for a limited time. You know what I mean? But I mean, you're gonna learn someday. But
Don't take iconic ones. Just make ones you like.
Yeah.
Like, don't take
Yeah,
the
yeah.
like the 3 most iconic dunks and then just throw your logo on it.
Nah, that's a fact.
Man,
That's a
lazy
fact.
bum. So yeah, we got a lot more to talk about. We gotta kick this one off, and then we'll get on because next week I gotta talk about those new Sakai's. I gotta talk to some dunks coming. Man,
We
there's
got
some
some
stuff.
we got some more information coming, some more joking around, some more,
Yeah, so
real life stories, man.
we'll keep it going. So we'll be back soon. Appreciate y'all hanging this. Johnny, where can everybody find you?
Man, this is gonna be the last time I tell y'all. Johnny Sneaks on Instagram and Twitter. You guys can DM me, send me a message, send me gifts. I like when I say gifts, I mean like Giphies. I love them a lot. I love using them. And that's JHONNYSNEAKS and brother Matt, my man 4D5K. Where we finding you?
You can find me at I am Matt Roach on all your platforms. I'm here. I like gifts with a T. You know, if you want to send me those gifts, I'll take it. But yeah, no, appreciate it, everybody. Sorry for the hiatus, and we'll be back. Peace.
New pairs that I gotta get.
Welcome to the sneaker closet.
New pairs that I gotta get.
Welcome to the sneaker closet.
New pairs that I gotta get.
Welcome to the sneaker closet.
New pairs that I gotta get.
Welcome to the sneaker closet.